everyone, welcome back to another episode of Louise's Bookish Adventures. Today is going to be a book tag. It's going to be 20 questions book tag where I talk about books basically. So let's get into it. Before we do though, if you want to subscribe, please press the button on the bottom right corner of this video, comment, and if you want to be notified when I have a new video out, press the little bell and it will notify you. All right, let's get down to the questions. Number 1. How many books are too many for a series? None. I mean, like, there is no number. You know, I like really big series. I know Robert Jordan has like a 14-book series, the Wheel of Time series, and I plan to read that. I like epic series with lots and lots of books that just continue, because then the story never ends and I get to learn new things. So the longer the better, to be honest. I think the one thing I don't like is having to wait for each book to come out. Number 2, how do you feel about cliffhangers? If another book is gonna come out, like to continue, I don't mind cliffhangers. My problem though is when there's a cliffhanger and then another book doesn't come out. I'm like, okay, but we need to know what happens. How is this gonna end? So it really depends on are there going to be more or not? Number 3, hardcover or paperback? I prefer hardcover because I feel like they get damaged less, and they tend to look nicer on my bookshelves. But paperback is cheaper, so sometimes I will wait for the paperback just because it's cheaper and I don't want to spend as much. However, you know, books are expensive regardless, so but for the most part, I do like hardcover better. Number 4, favorite book. To be honest, I feel like this is asking a mother who her favorite child is. I don't have a favorite book. I love all my books that are on my shelf right now. I do have least favorite books, but for right now, I love all my books. I don't have a favorite. Like, that's just like asking who's my favorite kid. Like, I can't answer that. Number 5, least favorite book. If we went classic, it would be The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Hate that book. The premise of it is interesting. It's about, you know, a woman who has a child with a man who is not her husband, and because her husband was coming over from another country on a ship, he disappears and no one knows if he's alive or dead. So technically she's cheating on him, but they're really not sure. And unless they're sure, she's cheating on him, so she's an adulterer. And the premise is very interesting. It's just the writing kills me. I just can't. And teaching it is even worse. I can't stand that book. I just can't. So I would say that is my least favorite book. 6, love triangles, yes or no? Totally, yes. They just add such a suspense. They add like a tension to the story. Like, who's she gonna pick, him or him? And like some people, like Stephanie Meyer, picks one, but Cassandra Clare somehow makes everything perfect and everyone happy. And even with the love triangle, everyone ends up happy in some way. So I definitely do like love triangles. I think they add a nice touch to a story. Number 7, the most recent book you couldn't finish. Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I started it last year during quarantine and I couldn't finish it. It's a superhero thing. It's just not my thing. Like, I like watching movies about superheroes. I like TV shows about superheroes. Like, I'm into Marvel and DC and all that. I just can't read a book with superheroes. It was just not what I was expecting. It's just not my type of book. But I did give it to someone who would love it and give it a good home on their shelf. Number 8, a book you're currently reading. I'm reading Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. I love Cassandra Clare. I've loved every book she's ever written. She's my favorite author, and I always say this. Anytime I read her books and then start writing something of my own, I feel like I've become a better writer just by reading her books. I say that all the time because I feel like it's true. Like, I feel like, oh, this is how it's done kind of feeling. And so far, Chain of Iron is amazing, and I love it, and I'm so sad I have to wait like a year for the next one. But yeah, I'm like more than halfway done, and I cannot wait to finish it this weekend. Number 9, last book you recommended to someone. I recommended Vicious to my best friend. She actually has it kind of, but no, I recommended Vicious actually to my students. I was saying how it was so good and how it deals with like extraordinary people that have powers because of near-death experiences, and how it was like fast-paced, quick. You like the characters are boom, boom, boom. You know, the chapters are short enough where it tells you everything you need to know, but it doesn't leave you like hanging. I thought it was really well done, and I was very happy with it, and I definitely recommended it to like some of my students who like to read. 10, oldest book you've read by publication date. Hamlet, I guess I would say, or Othello, one of those. I read it for school with my students, and it is one of the oldest considering it's been out for a very long time, so Hamlet or Othello would be one of those. Newest book you read by publication date. I guess I would say Chain of Iron, even though I haven't necessarily finished it yet. But if it was one completely finished, it would be The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. That's the last one I read that is like the newest in publication date. I thought it was okay. It wasn't great. I was expecting definitely more, and I'm kind of disappointed by it, but I did finish it. 12, favorite author. Cassandra Clare. Love all her books, buy everything she's written. Like, I adore her. I even met her and have her autograph. Like, it was the best experience, and I just feel like she's an amazing author, and I'm so excited to read something that's not in the Shadowhunter world to see how her writing translates to something else, like outside of her usual writing. 13, buying books or borrowing books? Both. I love buying books. You know, I love adding books to my bookshelves. There's certain books I want to keep forever and like never let go and just continue building on my bookshelves and my library. But I also don't mind borrowing books. I am borrowing Philippa Gregory's books from the library, you know, because there's so many of them. And I know myself, I'll never read them again once I finish reading them because they're so dense. I still love them and I think they're great, but I don't think I'll read them again, so I don't mind borrowing those because I do want to read them, but I don't want to keep them. So I think both have like certain aspects that are great, you know, and I would say both. Number 14, a book you dislike that everyone seems to love. I would say The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I heard such great things. Like, I heard people sobbed and were crying profusely towards, like, while reading it. Like, I heard it was amazing. And I'm just like, it was okay. Then they're like, what do you mean? I'm just like, I just didn't think it was that great. Like, I just don't. And I know that's a very unpopular opinion, and that's okay. If you love it, that's fine. I just didn't. 15, bookmarks or dog ears? Bookmarks. Dog earing is just heinous. Like, how can you be a book lover and dog ear your books? I don't understand that concept. Always bookmarks. Anything could be a bookmark. Receipt, an actual bookmark, just a random piece of paper, like, but never dog ear. Like, that's just wrong. Sometimes if I don't even have a piece of paper, I'll just remember the page number because I refuse to dog ear a book. 16, a book you can always reread. A Christmas Carol. I feel like I could always reread that because it's just such a timeless story, and I love reading it during Christmas time, and it really puts me in the Christmas spirit. And like, I have a few copies because I kept trying to find a beautiful edition, which I have. So yay. But yeah, I think it's just a great story to, you know, read to people during the Christmas time every year. You know, it's a good tradition to have. 17, can you read while listening to music? No, I can't. When I listen to music, my mind kind of wanders random places. So I can't concentrate enough to read while listening to music. Oddly enough, I can read and watch TV at the same time. I don't know how that works, but it does. Like, I can do both of those. I think because it's like background noise, but not necessarily in my ears. 18, one POV or multiple? either or. I prefer multiple because it gives me different perspectives of the story from different angles. But just single POV is good too. I think single add more suspense because we're only seeing it through one person's eyes, so we don't know what's coming. And with multiple, you can, you know, figure out certain things that the characters don't know, but you know. So it's like almost waiting for the characters to catch up with the knowledge. And 19. Do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days? Over multiple days. I'm just too busy to read in one sitting. I think that really only happens in the summertime when I'm out of work because I'm a teacher. But usually it's over multiple days. It takes me a few. I think the last one I read in one sitting that was actually quite long was The Institute by Stephen King. I read his in one sitting. It was amazing. But again, that was in the summer. I didn't have work. 20. Who do you tag? I don't know. My best friend Christina tagged me. So I'm gonna tag everybody. If you wanna do this book tag, do this book tag. I tag you, viewer, to do it because it was a lot of fun to think about my reading preferences and what's on my shelf and like what's the oldest thing I've read and things like that. So I think it was a really fun book tag, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. And please subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you with another video.